Good morning to all. This is Uma Shankar, working as a lecturer in GMR Polytechnic College, Graduate. Today we are going to discuss about the active and passive elements. So before going to see these active and passive elements or passive components, let us discuss about some introduction about the electric circuit. So why you are going to be used these active and passive elements in an electric circuit. So let us consider that all the electronic systems are built with the help of this analog and the digital components. So these electronic systems are made up of, or any system which is made up of, are constructed or connected together with the help of the resistors, capacitors, diodes, inductors, and operational amplifiers, transistors, and it can be logic gates, flip-flops, all these things which can comes under this electronic system. The electronic system, which is a combination of interconnection of the inputs and outputs with the help of these components. So these electronic elements, all this that make up a circuit, are connected together by conductors to form a one complete circuit. So if you want to form a complete system, then with the help of these components, we are going to form a one complete circuit. So now this electronic elements is a combination of this active and the passive elements. Now we will see the basic example of this. Next, in the next slide, we will see what is active element and what is passive elements. So here, this major important blocks which contain this in this circuit, whatever the example which is represented in this slide, that is, it contains an active element and it contains a passive element. Between this, there is an interconnection between these active and passive elements with the help of this connecting wires. So if you want to make an interconnection between these two, we need a connecting wires. Then only a complete circuit will be formed. Okay, right. So next, if a network contains at least one closed path, it is called as a electric circuit. So this is nothing but this is one complete closed path, and this is another one complete closed path. A network is a combination of one closed path or more than one closed path. So if you want to make a one complete circuit or electric circuit, then it should contains a closed path in order to perform the certain task. Next, a simple circuit element is a mathematical model of the two terminal electrical devices, and it can be completely characterized by its voltage and the current. A physical circuit must provide means for a transfer of energy. So this circuit will perform certain action only by performing a one complete closed path. So then certain action will be takes place, that is, an energy will be transferred from this source to this source such that it can perform its action or type of task it has to be performed. Okay. And next, we will see the classification of this network element. That is, all these network elements may be classified into the four groups. The first one is the active and passive elements. Next one is the unilateral and bilateral. And third one is the linear and non-linear. And fourth one is the lumped and the distributed. Now we will see the active and the passive elements. So all these conductors which contains the major parts which contains within the circuit can be classified into the two main categories depending on whether they can deliver or they can absorb the energy from the circuit. So whatever the components which are connected in the circuit, so that can be depend on whether they can deliver or absorb the energy from the circuit. That can be classified into the two, that is active and the passive components. So first we will see the active elements. So the active elements which can be used to generate the energy for any device. So, and which can deliver the energy. Active elements are the elements which can deliver the energy. It is the main component, that is core component to operate any device. Without this, we cannot do any certain action or task which has to be performed. Okay. Right. Next, the two parameters to consider for proper device operation are the current and voltage. Majorly, the active elements which will be considered as the current and the voltage source. Why? Because if you want to perform any task, you will require this voltage or the current sources in order to perform the task in the electric circuit. The commonly used active elements are the diodes, transistors, and next voltage operated devices, and next vacuum tubes, generators, that is alternators and the DC generators comes under these active elements. And the transistors, which are nothing but example BJTs, MOSFETs, FETs, and the JFETs, and the diodes are Zener diodes, photodiodes, Schottky diodes, LEDs, and the etc. So based on their operation and based on their functionality, there are some elements which can comes under the active elements, and there are some elements which can becomes under the passive elements. So these are the symbols which can be, or electronic components which can be represented as a active components. And next, voltage and the current sources. This voltage and current sources which can leave the current, which can leave the current from the positive terminal of the source, and the energy is supplied to the circuit, and then the task has to be performed. So if you take the voltage source, or if you take the current source, that has to supply some amount of charge. That is nothing but the flow of electron will be takes place in the connecting wires to the load. Load is nothing but the task which has to be performed in the circuit. The voltage source which can be represented as a battery, and the current sources which can be comes under as a transistor. Why? Because all the transistors, some of the transistor which can be voltage controlled type, and which can be a current controlled type. So based by using this transistor, they can amplify the signal which can be taken from the energy source, and it can be given to the circuit such that it can to amplify the signal, or it can to perform certain action. So the transistor is considered as an active element because these transistors are able to amplify the power of the signal. That's why they are comes under the active elements, and they are essentially controlling the flow of the charge. Okay, so that's why they are comes under the active component. And next to the passive elements, all these passive elements is an electronic component which can only receive the energy. Okay, which, that is, either it can be dissipate in the form of heat, or it can be absorb or store the energy, that is in the form of electric field or in the form of the magnetic field. So they did not need any form of electrical power to be operated. All the passive elements does not need any form of electrical power to operate. They does not rely on any uh, electrical power. And this, the name suggests that the passive indicate does not provide any gain or amplification, that either it can absorb the energy or it can store the energy. So that energy stored can be used for further operation of the circuit. And the passive components cannot amplify or oscillate or generate an electrical signal. Okay, and the commonly used passive components are the resistors, inductor, capacitors, and the transformer. So these are the some examples are the symbols which can be represented the passive electronic components. Okay, and next the comparison between these two, that is active elements produces energy to another circuit in the form of voltage or the current. So that is passive elements which can be impervious in nature, that is it cannot supply any energy, that is voltage or the current. Instead of that, it can absorb the energy, or it can store the energy. So active elements are the examples are transistors, voltage source, current source, generators. All this comes under the active elements. Passive elements are resistor, capacitors, inductors, and next transformers comes under the passive elements. So these elements can be used for control, current control and voltage control application, active elements. And passive elements are used for energy storage, which can be used for discharge or oscillating, filtering, and phase shifting applications. And these the major elements which comes under the active and passive elements, are components which comes under is nothing but, so these are the examples. And next the passive elements, which is nothing but resistor, inductor, and their functionality, which can be described here. So what this resistor will do is nothing but, so resistor can only receive the energy which they can dissipate as heat as long as current flows through it. That is the major property of the resistor. Inductor is it can store the energy in the form of magnetic field, and it can deliver that energy to the circuit for the further circuit operation. That after storing the energy, then it can discharge to the next circuit which can be connected to it. And next, the capacitor also perform the same operation. It can store the energy in the form of the electric field, where inductor can store the energy in the form of the magnetic field. Here the capacitor can store the energy in the form of the electric field. In the transformer, which can remains its power as a constant, either it can raise the voltage levels or it can decrease the voltage levels based on the step up or step down transformer. Okay. And next, other than this active and passive elements, we have the another network elements which can be classified. That is bilateral and unilateral. What do you mean by bilateral? Is nothing but the response of the current in both the directions should be same. That is nothing but the conduction of current in both directions in a circuit element with the same magnitude. That is, it is called as a bilateral. That is, if you take the resistor or if you take the inductor or if you take the capacitor, when it is connected to the battery or the voltage source, then when you reverse the polarity, then the current in either direction, that is the response in either direction in the case of the resistor, inductor and capacitor, when the voltage source is in reversing polarity, when it is changed its polarity, the response should be same in either direction. So those type of elements are called as a bilateral elements. And next, unilateral elements, the response in this will be only in one direction. So if you change the polarity of the voltage source, then you will get only the response only in one direction. The other side you will not get the response. That is, the response will be same only in one single direction. The current will be same only in one direction. Other direction the current will not be same when the polarity will be reversed. So the examples are the vacuum diodes, silicon diodes, that is nothing but diodes, semiconductor diodes, and next is the transistors. And the SCR also comes under the unilateral elements. Next is the linear and the non-linear elements. Next classification, that is an element is said to be the linear if it satisfies the uh, uh, if it voltage and current relationship between is a straight line through the origin. That is nothing but if you apply the voltage, then proportionally the current has to be changed. That will leads to a straight line which can be passing through the origin. If you take the negative values or if you take the positive values, it has to be a straight line and it has to be linear. The example is nothing but the current passing through a resistor is proportional to the voltage applied to it through it. That is, V is directly proportional to I. That is, from that this proportionality constant has been removed and it can be considered as a V is equal to I into R. That is, it has to satisfy the linear property such that it has to be a straight line through the origin. A linear element is one which satisfies the principle of superposition. That is, it has to satisfy the principle of the homogeneity and the additivity. Then that type of element is called as a linear element. The element which does not satisfy the above principle, that is superposition principle, then these type of elements are called as a non-linear elements. Okay. And next, lumped and the distributed elements. Lumped elements are those elements which vary small in size and in which simultaneous actions takes place for any given cause at the same time of the instant. The lumped elements which can be easily removable from the system, which are very small in size, and if any problem will be takes place and that can be easily removable from the system, those elements are called as a lumped elements. The examples for this is nothing but resistors, capacitors, inductors, and the transformers. So distributed elements are the elements those which are not electrically separable for analytical purpose, and the example for this is which cannot easily removable from the system. These are very difficult to remove from the system, and those systems are distributed over a long distances. Those type of elements are called as a distributed systems. are distributed elements. A transmission line, the example for this is nothing but a transmission line which has distributed its resistance, inductance, and capacitance along its length may be extended for hundreds of miles. As I said, that distributed elements are the elements which cannot be easily removable from the system, which cannot be easily electrically separable from the system because they are distributed over a long distance. But when it comes to the lumped, that can be easily separable from the system or easily removable from the system, and which can be replaceable easily. Okay, so uh, so these are the summaries we have learned in this class, that is active element and definition of active element, example, definition of passive element and example, and lumped and distributed, unilateral and bilateral, and linear and the non-linear.